Welcome one, welcome all to Max's Mic. I'm Max and I have the mic. Today's episode is all about my picks for the 2024 MLB Playoffs. It's not the full playoffs, it's actually just going to be this round, the Divisional Round, ALDS and NLCS series. I had made a video about the Wild Card series, but there was no audio and I didn't have time to re-record it. So that video will never get out, unfortunately. However, what makes it even more unfortunate is that I was correct on all my picks. For once, I was actually going to be right. Pick the Royals, pick the Tigers, pick the Mets, pick the Padres. Well, there's no proof for it, but hopefully there is audio for this video. Should be audio. And, well, hopefully my picks are correct. So let's get right into the picks. We're going to start with the NL. Coming off of a grueling series, the New York Mets, the Make It Happen Mets, as Keith McPherson loves to call them, made it happen. They did. Winning the first game 8-4, they dropped the second game 5-3, but turned things around with an incredible top of the ninth, which included an absolutely amazing 3-run shot from Pete Alonso. A spectacular bomb from Alonso. More of a bullet line drive that just got out of the ballpark, but it did. It gave the Mets the 3-2 lead. They tacked on a fourth run, and then they closed it out in the bottom of the ninth, and they won 4-2. A win that not many, including myself, believed they had the opportunity to get. I thought they were done and out of it. I thought the Brewers were going to win, and that was all she wrote. Wrap it up. But no, the Make It Happen Mets made it happen, and now they've got, a significantly more challenging competition ahead of them. One of the favorites to win the whole thing, and one of my favorites, and has been for quite a long time, to make it to the World Series, the Phillies. They've got to go and take on the Phillies. And for game one, from the shadows and the ashes of who knows where, Kodai Senga is coming to pitch. And okay, Kodai Senga's starting this game. Did not expect that when preparing to talk about it. Did not expect Senga and Severino to be the first two pitchers, but here we are in a reality in which that is true. Unfortunately for the Mets, they've got to take on Zach Wheeler in the very first game. Wheeler has been really, really good this season. I mean, 2.57 ERA, 16-7 record, 200 innings pitched, 224 strikeouts, .96 whip. His career in the postseason, he's 4-3, 2.42 ERA with 68 Ks through 63 innings pitched and a .73 whip. This guy stares the challenge of playoff baseball right in the eyes and says, "You will not get the best of me." And for the Mets, this is going to be a rough game one, a rough game two with Christopher Sanchez, who has also been a pretty solid pitcher. But also for the Mets, you've got Luis Severino pitching, who, I mean, you could have good Severino or you could have 3 runs in the first inning Severino. Now, granted, Didi Gregorius came up in the bottom of that first inning in 2017 and knocked a 3-run home run to tie the game. Severino was knocked out in the first inning, and, he does not have all too favorable postseason stats. His postseason stats 2-4 record, 5.07 ERA, 49.2 innings pitched, 47 strikeouts, a 1.53 WHIP. Just not that good. So if I'm a Mets fan, I'm a little nervous about the first two games. I think they're going to be able to turn around, but I can't see that happening. This Phillies team is electric. The energy, the life that they bring, the fact that, quite honestly, in a game in which I'm feeling down in the dumps, in the bottom of the seventh, and the top of the eighth, and I'm looking down this roster, who am I going to want to be at the bat? I would want anyone in this roster to be up at bat. I would want anyone. I can rely on anyone to go up, get a hit, and quite honestly, one hit can easily lead to another, to another, to another. Now they've got a run. Now they've got the momentum in a game that they're down 8-1 in. And all of a sudden, like that, they can flip it on their heads and turn it into a 9-8, 10-8 lead. And I have faith that this Phillies team could do that. Get the energy, get the momentum, and get going. Quite honestly, I also have faith that this team can start off the game red hot. They can come in, put up 2 runs. Now they've got the momentum, and it's over. And it's over. Just like that, as fast as I said it, it's done. And with that, I think the Phillies are going to win the series 3-1. Now we move on to the next series. And the next series is going to be between the San Diego Padres and the LA Dodgers. A rivalry, second best rivalry in all of MLB. Best rivalry is Yankees-Red Sox, and it's not even a debate or a question. But anyways, we'll move past that. Second best rivalry in all of baseball. Padres, Dodgers, and first of all, props to the Padres for using their starters and their pitching staff correctly. Not only do they have a stellar pitching staff, but they saved their ace for Game 1 of the ALDS. They were that confident. Now, yes, you could always also just say that, they're saving him for Game 3. But most teams, if not all, are putting their best pitcher out in the first game. Not the Padres. The Padres put out Michael King. Michael King hasn't even been a starter for, this is his first full season as a starting pitcher. That Michael King. And then they put out Joe Musgrove, who unfortunately got hurt, but they still won the game. And now they've got Dylan Cease. Dylan Cease, who unfortunately is going to finish second in Cy Young voting because Chris Sale, well, I don't know. He rose from the dead and just decided, now I'm going to be in my prime and win the pitching Triple Crown. But Dylan Cease is pitching. If you win the first game of a series, it increases your chances of winning that series astronomically. Who's on the other side? Yoshinobu Yamamoto for the Dodgers. It's first playoff appearance. And I'm sorry, Yamamoto, you're going to have to prove it in this game. You're going to have to go out there and prove it. Because this Padres team is not only hot from their last series, they've got their ace on the mound, they've got the energy, they've got the momentum. This is going to be a grueling, it's Yamamoto's first playoff game, it's Ohtani's first playoff game, so I can't wait to see how he handles playoff baseball because the atmosphere in the field is going to be different, especially between the Dodgers and the Padres. It's going to be different, and we're just going to have to see. Wait and see how Ohtani handles it. Can he rise to the challenge, or is he going to flop? What do I think? Well, he's on the Dodgers. So I don't think he's going to flop. I think the rest of the team's going to flop. And I think the Padres are going to take this series in 4. I was going to say 5, but I'm doing it in 4. I think they win the 2 at home, and I think they win Game 1. Because I just, just Dylan Cease or Yamamoto. Dylan Cease or Yamamoto. Game 1 goes to the Padres. Game 2 to the Dodgers. 3 and 4 to the Padres, and they win it 3-1 in 4 games. Yeah, that is math. That makes sense. All right, next series. Moving to the AL, we got who? The Detroit Tigers. Yes. What? Okay. It's the Detroit Tigers, who came out of nowhere. I did not anticipate this good of a team out of the Tigers, or this good of a season out of this Tigers team. You probably didn't anticipate that either. But here they are, walking all over the Astros, the Trastros, bang them trash cans, let's go. They're gone. Detroit's here to stay, and now they've got the Cleveland Guardians. And quite honestly, I was going to say, and I love comparing because I'm a big fan of, you've got to win. There are 3 components to baseball. Technically 4, but I consider there are 3 major components. And if you can win 2 of 3, you're going to win a series. There's your starting pitching, there's your hitting, and then there's your bullpen. Because quite honestly, you could have the better starting pitching, but if you don't have the better bullpen, there's a chance you're not going to win the hitting battle. You could have really good starting pitching and really good bullpen, but if you don't win the hitting battle, you're probably going to lose, but it's not that hard to win that hitting battle. But if you don't have good starting pitching, if you don't have a really good bullpen, you're not going to win. But if you could have better hitting and a better starting bullpen, you got a chance. But quite honestly, this Tigers team just has pitching. There's no starters and relievers. It quite honestly just feels like it's just pitching at this point. It's just put whoever's the best pitcher out there and let him go. And while I can see how that works, oh man, this Guardians team, this Guardians roster that can just get going, playoff baseball in Cleveland is different. And this Guardians bullpen, in my opinion, easily best in the league. And so I'm just going with the Guardians sweep here. I mean, I'm looking at Skubal slated to pitch in the second game, but again, you can win the starting pitching, but I don't think they're winning the hitting, and they're not winning the bullpen battle. So unless they can, I don't know, they haven't slated anyone yet for Cleveland, but unless they can really jump out early and win the early half of the hitting battle and clobber this Cleveland starter to the point that Cleveland can't even make a comeback, I don't know if the Tigers really have that good of a shot. So I'm going with Cleveland, and I'm going in 3. That second game is going to be a battle, though. That one's going to be a low-scoring battle. I think there's going to be some relatively good scoring. I don't think there's anything going to be like this, the Kansas City-Baltimore series in which the first game was 1-0, the second game was 2-1. I don't think we're going to see low scoring like game 1 of, honestly, almost every single series except for the Mets, in which Tigers-Astros was 3-1 Tigers. It was 1-0 Royals over Orioles, and it was 4-0 Padres over Braves. I think the scoring is going to be quite a bit higher. A lot of maybe 5-3, 5-4s, even higher than that. Looking at some 8-4 that Mets game, maybe something like that. I think this is going to be, although there's some really good pitching, consistency of bullpens and then consistency on the back half of starting rotations isn't there across the board. And quite honestly, this leads me into this final series. And the question marks that I have, consistency with both these rosters, it's going to be the Kansas City Royals and your New York Yankees, the Bronx Bombers. And I'm going with the Bombers. And I'm going with a sweep. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to say the Bombers win 3-1 in 4. Just because I'm looking at this game 2. And I'm seeing Rodon. And I don't know who game 3 is going to be. But I'm thinking it's going to be Seth Lugo. So I'm thinking that KC might take game 3. But the Yankees are coming out hot with Garrett Cole. Get back game. Cole's going to go out there. He's going to chuck 7, 8 innings, probably 7, be dominant, and the Yankees are going to take that momentum. They're going to win Game 2. Game 3, they're going to lose in a tight battle, and then Game 4, they're going to turn it on and turn on the burners and run into the sunset. But again, my fear is that talk about the battles. Pitching battle. Quite honestly, these starting rotations pretty even. I'd almost give the edge to KC. Bullpen battle. Right now, I'm giving that edge to the Yankees, but the Yankees bullpen's a little inconsistent. Comes down to the hitting battle. Yankees have the names. KC's been hitting pretty good. I mean, they got Bobby Witt. They've got Salvador Perez batting .275. MJ Melendez, I think, is up in the 260s. I think Pasquantino's back, and he's up in the 260s too. So they've got some pretty good hitting there that can get the job done. They've got hitting to get the job done. That's what they had to do in Baltimore with the 1-0 and 2-1 wins. That's all they needed. They only needed 1 run. They didn't give up any. They only needed 2 runs. They only gave up 1. They've got hitting to get it done. Now the question is can the pitching keep them in the game? And quite honestly, I'm loving the energy. I talk a lot about energy, and I will forever talk about energy because of the 2020 playoffs, in which I watched the New York Yankees, the lifeless bullpen, fall to the energetic Tampa Bay Rays. The lifeless Yankees dugout fall to the Tampa Bay Rays and their energetic dugout. And the life that the Rays had throughout that whole game compared to the fact that the Yankees were lifeless, I mean, it also comes down to the fact that when you watch back that game, there was a lot of camera shots of the Rays dugout, barely in the Yankees. Why? Because there was nothing going on there. There's a lot of energy over in the Tampa dugout. And because of that, the Rays won and the Yankees lost. And then I remember back to 2017 and the amazing run that we had because we had a lot of life and energy in that dugout. And now I'm looking at our dugout this year. And we got Soto, Verdugo, Jazz. Judge is bringing the energy. Cabrera is bringing the energy. Volpe's bringing the energy. Dominguez is bringing the energy in the young life. Wells is bringing the energy in the young life. Our pitchers are bringing the energy. I'm looking at Garrett Cole, and he's honestly kind of losing his mind when he's not locked in pitching. The energy and the life is there, and it's the reason why I love the Phillies, and it's the reason why I'm really starting to get on the Yankee bandwagon. Oh, I'm on the Yankee bandwagon, but get on this true Yankee believer train. There's Yankee fans who really want them to win, and then there's Yankee fans that really want, there's Yankee fans that really want them to win and think they can genuinely win, and then there's Yankee fans that really want them to win, but are looking at the realistic chances of this team is too inconsistent. But right now, that inconsistency and the energy over here on this train is bumping up the true believer in me. And I really think the Yankees can go on a deep run. It's going to start in this series in the 3-1 win. So, one more. Track back through it. Cleveland's going to sweep Detroit 3-0. Yankees 3-1 over KC. San Diego's going to trump the Dodgers 3-2. Phillies over the Mets 3-0. 3-1. 3-1. I'm making some changes. I'm going to stick with the 3-1, stick with the 3-0 in Cleveland, stick with the 3-1 with the Yankees, and the Dodgers-Padres 3-2. Those are my picks. I hope everybody enjoys. I will see you guys Sunday, starting in the morning on VIC, where I will be a guest on Ithaca's VIC radio talking about NFL football. And then I'll see you guys a little later that same day, in which I drop my daily fantasy informational video talking about who's your starts and sits and other players that you should put in and keep an eye on for. It's going to be a spicy week this week in football, so stay tuned. I hope everybody has a great rest of their evening, night. Have a great weekend. I'll see you guys Sunday. Take care. Goodbye.